And a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom. I'm Zach Daly. Thank you so much for joining us on a very special night as we welcome 7 new members into the Army Sports Hall of Fame. We'll be joined by all of them as the night goes along, as well as the Athletic Director, Boo Corrigan, and hopefully the 60th Superintendent, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams. But for now, we're going to toss it over to the podium where the golden voice, the voice of the Black Knights, Rich DeMarco, the Master of Ceremonies, is going to take it away.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, we'd like to thank Lockheed Martin. Pat Donahue and Jim Rogers, thank you, Lockheed Martin, for your support of Army Athletics and the Army Sports Hall of Fame induction banquet. Just a reminder, the photo booth will be open once we break for dinner and then close again when we resume the program following the meal. It'll be open as folks depart the ballroom at the conclusion of the banquet. So make sure if you haven't gotten your photo now, during dinner would be a good time, and then of course when we wrap things up on your way out. It's great to be here. What a great night we have tonight. Welcome to the Army Sports Hall of Fame induction banquet. We'd like to begin tonight's festivities with the singing of our national anthem by Master Sergeant Mary K. Messenger from the United States Military Academy Band.
Everyone, please join in. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and their Rockies red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Mary Kay. Great job. I'd now like to introduce Chaplain Colonel Matt Polakowski, who will offer this evening's invocation.
God save us from Monday morning quarterbacks, from critics who cry how the doers of deeds could have done them better. But God, thank you for blessing us with the Hall of Fame class of 2018, with those who have actually gone into the arena, their faces marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strove valiantly, who were terrors in the fray, who focused on the finish line, who kept their eye on the ball, who never sought to make a big splash, but only sought excellence. For those who won, not at all costs, but in accord with the values of duty, honor, country. Almighty God, I ask that you bless them as we honor them tonight. And as in all things, May we beat Navy. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Father. What a night. Absolutely great to be here for the 15th class, 15 classes of the Army Sports Hall of Fame. This weekend, this night, personally for me, I'm able to mark my time here at West Point. My first year here was the first class back in 2004. So each and every year, seeing the classes grow and just the pure excitement of this event, the pure excitement of this weekend really makes it one of the great days and weekends we have on the West Point calendar. We're joined by many special individuals this evening, but none more distinguished than the members of the current leadership team here at West Point. Let's please give a warm welcome to the 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams, and his wife, Erin. Command Sergeant Major Jack Love and his wife, Cindy. Brigadier General Steve Gilland and his wife, Betsy. Sergeant Major Thomas Kenny. Dean of the Academic Board here at West Point, Brigadier General Cindy Jebb. Army's Director of Athletics, Mr. Boo Corrigan and his wife, Kristen. And also with us tonight, West Point Chief of Staff, Colonel Mark Beeger and his wife, Amy. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished visitors and family members here tonight. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge several members of the Army Sports Hall of Fame joining us here this evening. From West Point's class of 1967, Joe Casey, who was inducted in 2005. From the class of 1986, Julie Del Giorno, who was inducted in 2013. Legendary Army lacrosse coach Jack Emmer, who was inducted also in 2013. From the class of 1965, Walter Orline, who was inducted in 2006. From the class of 1978, Jose Olivero, who was inducted in 2008. From the class of 1962, Al Rushatz, who was inducted in 2010. From the class of 1984, Melody Smith, who also was inducted in 2010. Former Army Director of Athletics, Carl Ulrich, who was inducted in 2007. And finally, from the class of 1961, Al Vanderbush, who was inducted in 2013. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium General Williams.
All right, how you doing this evening? You know, Boo asked me, hey, Soup, you need to come say a few words. I said, Boo, we're playing Hawaii tomorrow, and I got violent thoughts right now, so I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try to get through this. So thanks, Rich, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, of course, to the Army Sports Hall of Fame class of 2018, good evening and welcome. And thank you all so much for being here this evening to honor our newest members of the Army Sports Hall of Fame. Most of us here this evening can probably recite General MacArthur's famous words by heart when he declared every cadet an athlete nearly a century ago. Upon the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds that upon other fields on other days will bear the fruits of victory. Some of these seeds he referred to include grit, tenacity, overcoming adversity, the will to win, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. For the past 100 years, those seeds have borne an endless crop of incredible leaders who have fought and won on countless fields all over the globe. And those truths from Superintendent MacArthur still hold true today in the 21st century, we still sow those seeds on the fields of friendly strife, and those seeds still bear the fruits of victory. Tonight, we are proud to honor these 7 new inductees into the Hall of Fame for their grit, their drive, and passion, both on and off the field, and most importantly, for their relentless pursuit of excellence throughout their careers. With their accomplishments on the athletic fields spanning more than a half a century, this year's class represents excellence on numerous levels. They're all Americans and letter holders in a variety of sports: football, volleyball, baseball, and much more. Some of them personally earning letters in multiple sports. They're record setters and record breakers. They've led their teams to league and NCAA championships, even to the coveted title of national champions. And of course, they all know the sweet taste of beating Navy. They've been leaders on the field, leaders on the sidelines as a coach. And Maddie, they've even dedicated a lifetime of service, quietly leading the efforts behind the scenes to tell these incredible stories. In every endeavor, in every endeavor, whether at West Point, in the Army, or in their communities, they've all stood tall as leaders of character, exemplars of that relentless pursuit of excellence and the winning spirit we strive to impart on all of our cadets. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for this year's class of inductees? I'd like to express my thanks to the selection committee for their time and effort. I'm sure the job of selecting this outstanding group from a field of so many accomplished candidates is no small task, but we truly appreciate your efforts. To this year's Hall of Fame class, congratulations again on the well-deserved honor. Thank you for your commitment to excellence, for inspiring others to live honorably, and for showing us through your example what it means to be a leader of character. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you. Beat Hawaii, beat Navy.
Thank you, General Williams. It's time now for dinner. Enjoy will resume in a little bit. And remember, the photo booth open during dinner. So if you want to take pictures to commemorate the night, do so now. Enjoy dinner. We'll resume shortly.
Welcome back to ICALL, now joined by the 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams. And sir, your first Hall of Fame weekend, you just gave a great speech. What's it been like for you so far here?
Hey, thanks very much. I appreciate it. Feel the energy in the room. This is an outstanding event. It's a real honor to be in the midst of so many heroes. I actually was able to participate in the unveiling ceremony. It's the first time I've participated in the unveiling ceremony. It was awesome. I saw tears, I saw laughter. You could see the lifetime of service, both on the field and also after, expressed very well.
Now, a lot of these Hall of Fame inductees, they've been in your seat. They were cadets, they were athletes, they had careers in the Army. So what was being a cadet athlete for you? How did that impact your career in the Army, and still to this day, your career in the Army now as Superintendent of the Military Academy?
Well, thanks very much. It had an absolutely tremendous impact on my career. Here I am starting my 36th year. I learned on the fields of friendly strife with my football coaches: toughness, grit, tenacity, relentlessness, pursuit of excellence, and I try to live up to that today in the Army as I go around the world.
Sir, thanks for a couple of minutes. Go enjoy dinner.
Thank you very much. Beat Navy.
Beat Navy. We'll be right back. Back at Eisenhower Hall, now joined by Laura Grivey, the daughter of Dale Stanley Hall. Laura, first off, thank you so much for joining us. And just what's this weekend meant for you, your family, and most importantly, your father?
Well, when my dad came to West Point, it shaped who he was for the rest of his life. It enabled him to get his college education. It enabled him to serve, in World War II. It gave him the friends and his band of brothers that were with him the remainder of his life. My sisters and I grew up here when my dad coached. So when I come back here, it's like deja vu. We went up and visited our old house and looked at everything. I have a son that came here. He followed in his grandfather's footsteps. He's in the Army. He's a lifer, and he's currently serving in Korea. This has been wonderful for Dad. And it was so nice to see Colonel Rafalco, well, he's General Rafalco now, but General Rafalco's family, they were people that we grew up with when we were here. So it's been wonderful. Everybody's just been wonderful the whole weekend.
Your dad went here, your son went here. Obviously, West Point's had a huge impact on your family. So what has that impact meant to you, and how's it kind of helped shape the way your family has grown and been molded into the people they are today?
Well, that guy kind of said it when he said duty, honor, and country. It's knowing who you are, knowing right from wrong, which doesn't seem to be the popular thing these days. Having a brotherhood, having friends for life that you do things with. I don't know. What else?
Well, Laura, thank you for a couple of minutes. Enjoy the rest of the night and enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll be right back. Zach Daly back at the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom, now joined by Ed Haydash, class of 1964. And sir, first off, congratulations on being inducted. What's this day and what's this weekend and what's this honor meant to you?
It's kind of humbling, actually. It's something you dream about, and it came about. I had a lot of friends putting the effort forward to get me inducted. And I don't know how to answer the question, to be honest. It's just humbling.
A theme that's a common occurrence is there's no I in team. So a lot of people, like you said, had a hand in getting you here. Some of your teammates, some of your coaches, what did they mean to you throughout your career as a cadet, your career in the Army, and now being able to get you into the Army Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, it all starts when you come here your first day, and you take the oath to be a cadet and to comply with the restrictions that were at that time very prevalent. They've somewhat lessened some of those restrictions, but the coaching, the teachers you had, the instructors you had, the TAC officers you had, they were all really hand-picked, and you really looked up to them as to the way they carried themselves, the way they treated you, the discipline they instilled in you, and the coaches were the same way. Coach Tipton and Coach Reeder, Colonel Reeder and Eric Tipton, they were superb. They were just they were there all the time, instructing you how to properly play the game as well as handle yourself on and off the field, and that really carries forward into the career that you have. You get commissioned, you work, as I mentioned today at the induction ceremony, you work as a team. There's no individual involved here. Everybody works as a team. In our profession, if you don't work as a team, you're just not going to really succeed in what you're doing. You're going to end up failing.
Well, sir, thank you for a couple of minutes. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Oh, yeah,
We'll be right back. Zach Daly back at the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom, now joined by class of 1967 swimming great Kerry O'Hara. First off, congratulations on the induction.
Thank you.
Just what's this weekend been like for you? What's it meant for you? And what was it like when you got that call from Boo Corrigan saying you were going into the Army Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, I got called about 3 months ago from Boo, and I was taking my nap, and my wife covered for me. So I got on the phone and later on, and he congratulated me. And I have classmates, and there were 3 of them that made it in before me, and they were terrific athletes as well. And when I was on the swimming team, during the period of 64 to 67, we had 12 All-Americans on the team at one time. And so that selection committee had a tough thing to do, to select these good athletes. So I was pretty honored to be selected. I was very happy to have it. I had another friend of mine on the swimming team, Tony Clay, who made the Hall about 2 years ago, and unfortunately Tony died. about a month after being told that he made it. And so he never made it to this ceremony here, but he died knowing he made the Hall of Fame. But he was an All-American as well. But it's an honor to be among these great athletes.
Well, your career as a cadet, legendary, a couple All-Americans, yourself included on that team. What were some of the memories you had swimming here at West Point and being able to compete for the Black Knights?
Probably the one that stands out in the era that I swam in, mostly the people I swam with, was our undefeated season. It was a 66, and we went 13-0, and that was the year that we beat Yale. Now, Yale's not a powerhouse now, but back then they were a powerhouse, and they had probably more Olympians than we had All-Americans. That's how good they were. But we wound up beating them, which completed our perfect season. And I remember that we actually got a telegram from General Westmoreland, who was in Vietnam at the time, congratulating our team. That's how big of a deal it was, because we went undefeated the first time since 1945, and the team still isn't undefeated. So it was something to be very proud of.
Well, Kerry, congratulations on the induction, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Back at the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom, now joined by ELITA Powell, one of the newest members of the Army Sports Hall of Fame. First off, ELITA, congratulations on the honor.
Thank you.
What's it mean to be able to go into the Hall of Fame and to join such a long list of historic names that have meant so much to the athletic department and the sports teams here at this academy?
That's kind of a loaded question for me. I'm still overwhelmed. I never expected it. I was never looking for it. It's just amazing to be, to be selected for with such a group of people. Even the people I sat with today, the other inductees, it's just humbling, and it's just amazing to me.
So many of the inductees, so many athletes have such fond memories of playing here. It shaped the way they've performed in the Army, their career in the Army. What are some of the best memories you have of competing, of playing, and of some of the teammates you had and some of the friends I'm sure you still have today?
Oh, yes. Well, of course, we won the Patriot League 2 of the 3 years I was here, and we were runner-ups for the other 2 years, and that was phenomenal. I had great coaches. We had the Olympic team come here and play with us. My teammates were phenomenal. I had incredible, you can't have records as a setter without hitters that put the ball away when you set them. Left-handed hitters, Sonny Bars, the class in '95, Jen Mishler, the class in '93, who was an outside hitter, just phenomenal athletes. I was preceded by Deanne Macklin, who's already in the Hall of Fame, class of '96, another fantastic hitter. The big memories for me were just coming back in games, especially at Navy, when they sit around we're in this upstairs gym, and they sit around the court, and the whole gym is full. And the whoop, whoop, whoop that they say for Army. And the score is 13-0 their way, and we come back and beat them in that game. Those are the kind of memories that stand out. It was just the fighting spirit was the perfect motto for our team, because we did have a fighting spirit.
Well, ELITA, congratulations on the honor, and we look forward to hearing from you in a little bit as the keynote speaker for this class.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Back in the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom, now joined by Christine Rafalco, daughter of Ed Rafalco, one of the newest inductees into the Army Sports Hall of Fame. Christine, first off, congratulations to you and your family. What's this meant for you? What's this weekend been like, and how have you guys been taking it in so far?
It's just been marvelous, and my father died in February 2016, so it is really wonderful that we can be together and celebrate, something that was very important to him in terms of being an athlete at West Point. So it was wonderful.
Now, your father played with the inductee of another Hall of Famer here, yes. Dale Hall. Yes. So what's that like to be able to reunite with their family and to be able to enjoy this experience together with them?
Well, it's quite ironic that they were both in the same class in one way, and especially because they were both such close friends, and they were also such close friends with Doug Kenna, who, of course, the Hall of Fame is named for. So it's poignant that they're all reunited together in the Hall of Fame. It's wonderful.
Well, Christine, thank you for a couple of minutes. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much. Good to be with you.
We'll be right back. Back in the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom, now joined by Maddie Salvani, the first female administrator into the Hall of Fame. And Maddie, you've been here for 50-plus years. You've worked closely with all of us. Did you ever think 50 years ago that you would be inducted into the Army Sports Hall of Fame, and what's it feel like to now finally be inducted?
No, I just always didn't think I would have lasted this long in any place. It's quite an honor. I never expected it, to be among this group of people. And what I've done with the research I've done over the years, because I know what the people have done. So to be told that I was going to be inducted in a class of, it just floored me, to be perfectly honest. You know.
Well, 50-plus years in sports information at West Point, certainly a lot of memories. What are some of the ones that come to mind when you think of some of the best times you've had here, whether they're on the fields or with some of the people that you've been able to work with here?
I think the coaches, and then a lot of the coaches are in the Hall of Fame now. You got Jack Ryan, Dick Adele, Jack Riley. You had some great stories with some of these coaches. But I think some of the best parts have been when you go to the NCAAs, when you get to do that with the teams, or go to some special tournament and be with the players and the excitement of winning. Over the years, when I covered a sport, if we lost, it took me forever to write the story. When we won, I was come back in the office, I'd be walking on air. I just had so much fun, like, we did this, we did that, and I was just so excited. And basically, whenever we beat Navy, that was the most fun of all.
Well, I'm sure everyone going in agrees with you. Beating Navy, definitely the best feeling. Maddie, thank you for a couple of minutes. And from me, thank you for all you've meant to not only myself, but everyone else who's worked with you over the last 50 years. We'll be right back. Back at Eisenhower Hall, now joined by one of the greatest goalies in Army lacrosse history, George Sablavsky. First of all, congratulations on the induction. What's it mean to you to get that call to be inducted into the Army Sports Hall of Fame?
It's absolutely surreal. Nobody could ever be ready for that type of a phone call from the athletic director. For my teammates, it's really not an individual honor being a goalie. It's really about team, and there's about 40 guys, 50 guys here. I don't know what the number is. And we're all here celebrating our teams together.
Well, you're not the first inductee to mention team. Kerry O'Hara said his team was very important. Ed Haydash said the same thing. It's really been a team effort to get all of you guys in. So what have those guys meant to you? You mentioned a little bit about them in your induction speech. How did they help you get to where you are today?
It's all about friendship. It's all about people. It's finding the right group of folks, not only on the field, but the parents that supported us. Unfortunately, my mom and dad are no longer with us. But they would absolutely love this opportunity right now.
Well, George, thank you for a couple of minutes. Congratulations, and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, West Point. Beat the Navy.
We'll be right back. Back at the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom, now joined by the Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Boo Corrigan. And Boo, I know one of your favorite weekends. You get the great honor of being able to call each one of these individuals. What's that like for you?
You know, it's one of those moments, you know, you got some days better than others, right? This is one of those really special days where you get to talk to someone, they're not expecting it, they're maybe hoping for it, you know, or they thought about it at some point in their life, but the opportunity to share that you're going to go into the Army Sports Hall of Fame is really special for me, but I think it's special for them as well.
We have so many former athletes here. The current class, the 7 getting inducted. Also a lot of current athletes here being able to interact with the former athletes. What impact do you hope that those former athletes can have on the current athletes here at West Point to be able to impact the athletic program going forward?
Well, I think the key to that whole thing is if our current cadets are open to what this is, it's an extraordinary opportunity, because it's not like every one of these people came to West Point because I want to do this and I want to do that. You know, they came to West Point to try something different, right? You know, to experience something different in life, and that's a lot of what our kids are doing right now. You know, trying to figure out, you know, what's my way through here, what branch do I want to go, where do I want to post first, and how do I turn out to be the best person I can be, and they've got role models all over the place, and I think that's an exciting part.
Well, Boo, thanks for a couple of minutes. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thanks. I appreciate you and your new haircut. I think it's awesome.
Appreciate it, Boo. We'll be back with Rich DeMarco at the podium.
Our first inductee was a three-sport standout during his days as a cadet. He remains one of the most storied names in Army sports history. From the class of 1945, Dale Hall. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1945, Dale Stanley Hall. Football, basketball, tennis. Dale Hall is one of the most storied names in Army sports history. A three-sport standout during his time at West Point, Hall was named the Sporting News College Basketball Player of the Year as a senior, to go along with a pair of All-American certificates. Hall led the Army basketball team to a 29-1 mark in his final 2 years. In addition to earning 2 varsity letters in tennis, Hall also excelled on the gridiron and was a member of the 1944 undefeated national championship team. Hall returned to West Point in 1959, succeeding the legendary Earl Red Blake as head coach, and directed the Black Knights to 16 wins over 3 seasons. From the class of 1945, Dale Stanley Hall. Football, basketball, tennis. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting the plaque on behalf of Dale Hall is his daughter, Laura Greavy. Congratulations. Our second honoree ranks as one of the most accomplished baseball players to adorn the diamond at West Point's Doubleday Field. He stands as the first player to earn All-America honors in the sport of baseball at the Military Academy. From the class of 1964, Ed Haydash. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1964, Edward Joseph Haydash. Baseball. Ed Haydash was a baseball standout during his time at West Point, becoming the first baseball player in Academy history to be named an All-American. Haydash hit .393 in 1963, ranking among the national leaders, and resulting in a third-team All-America selection by the American Baseball Coaches Association. A 2-time Eastern Intercollegiate Baseball League first-team selection, as well as a second-team pick, Haydash hit at least .340 during each of his 3 years at West Point, and led Army to back-to-back second-place finishes in the EIBL. From the class of 1964, Edward Joseph Haydash. Baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Haydash. Congratulations. Our third inductee remains one of the most decorated swimmers in Army history, a 4-time All-America recipient from the class of 1967, KERRY O'Hara. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1967, KERRY Lee O'Hara. Swimming and diving. KERRY O'Hara had a legendary career in the pool for West Point, earning 4 All-America certificates. Twice an All-American in the 200-yard backstroke, an event in which he set the NCAA freshman record. O'Hara, who established new academy or pool records 27 times while a cadet, was a member of the 400-yard medley relay team that earned 2 more All-America certificates. A 3-time NCAA qualifier, O'Hara placed 4th in the 200-yard backstroke at the NCAAs during his junior year, and helped the Black Knights to a 32-4 dual meet record during his 3-year career. Army won the Eastern Intercollegiate Swimming League title in 1965-66 and finished in the top 25 at the NCAAs during O'Hara's last 2 seasons. From the class of 1967, KERRY Lee O'Hara. Swimming and diving. Ladies and gentlemen, KERRY O'Hara. Congratulations. Our next honoree remains one of the top volleyball talents ever to pass through West Point's gates. She rewrote the record books during her time on the volleyball court as a cadet. From the class of 1994, ELITA Powell. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1994, ELITA Simone Powell, volleyball. ELITA Powell was the catalyst during one of the most successful runs in Army volleyball history. A two-time All-Patriot League selection, Powell helped Army to consecutive conference titles in 1991 and 1992. Powell graduated as Army's career leader in digs, assists, and service aces, and during her senior year, established Army's single-season record for assists and single-game record for aces, two marks which still stand, as well as the Academy's second most digs in a season. From the class of 1994, ELITA Simone Powell, volleyball. Ladies and gentlemen, ELITA Powell. Congratulations, ELITA. Our fifth honoree starred in football, basketball, and baseball for the Black Knights. He earned 7 varsity letters in all. From the class of 1945, Ed Rafalco. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1945, Edmund Anthony Rafalco. Football, basketball, baseball. Ed Rafalco was a 3-sport standout during his time as a cadet, excelling in football, basketball, and baseball. A 7-time varsity letter winner, Rafalco lettered 3 times on the gridiron and twice each on the hardwood and the diamond. During his football career, Army went 22-5-1, with Rafalco starting at end on the undefeated 1944 football team, which captured the first of the program's 3 consecutive national championships. After West Point, Rafalco went on to a distinguished military career in the United States Air Force and eventually served as athletic director at the Air Force Academy before retiring with the rank of Major General. From the class of 1945, Edmund Anthony Rafalco. Football, basketball, baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting the plaque on behalf of Ed Rafalco is his daughter, Christine Rafalco. Congratulations. Our next inductee stands as one of the true pioneers in college sports, helping to break down barriers for female athletes and members of the media that cover them. A constant presence around the Army sports scene for more than a half-century and a major contributor to the integration of female athletes at the military academy. She's also the first female administrator to gain entrance into the Army Sports Hall of Fame. Maddie Salvani. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Madeline Joan Salvani, administrator. Maddie Salvani is truly one of the pioneers in college athletics. For more than a half-century, she was an integral part of Army athletics. Salvani began her career in sports information in the 1960s, when females were not permitted in press boxes. Helping to break those barriers on the national level, Salvani played a key part in the integration of women into the United States Corps of Cadets. Salvani served as Army's first female sports information director and became the unofficial face of women's sports at West Point. In 2001, Salvani was presented the Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference Sports Information Directors Association University Division Marsh Award, and in 2015 was bestowed a Lifetime Achievement Award from the College Sports Information Directors of America. Salvani is the first female administrator to be inducted into the Army Sports Hall of Fame. Madeline Joan Salvani, Administrator. Ladies and gentlemen, Maddie Salvani. Congratulations, Maddie. Our final inductee comes from the sport of lacrosse, where he still ranks among the truly great goaltenders in the history of the sport. From the class of 1984, George Slabowski. Army Sports Hall of Fame inductee. From the class of 1984, George John Slabowski, lacrosse. George Slabowski is one of only 3 lacrosse goalies in NCAA history to be named a 4-time All-American, earning first-team honors in 1983. He helped Army to 4 straight NCAA tournament quarterfinal appearances, including a semifinal spot in 1984, a season which resulted in a selection to play in the North-South All-Star Game. Slabowski won the Ensign C. Markland Kelly Award in 1983 as the nation's top goalkeeper, and graduated as Army's career leader in saves, a mark which stood for more than 2 decades. From the class of 1984, George John Slabowski, lacrosse. Ladies and gentlemen, George Slabowski. Congratulations, George. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more round of applause for the Army Sports Hall of Fame class of 2018. At this time, I'd like to now introduce ELITA Powell, who will deliver the class acceptance speech.
Good evening, everyone. I know it's been a long day for you all, but it's been a very nice one, I think, for all the inductees. I'd just like to start by thanking the superintendent, Lieutenant General Williams, and the athletic director, Boo Kerrigan, Barbaretta, and the induction committee, Mimi and Maddie, because you guys were indispensable for me in this process. I'm sure you helped everybody else out just as much. Also, specifically my era of women's Army volleyball, my teammates. I'm kind of sad that none of them could be here tonight, but they were phenomenal players, and it was because of them, you know, that I'm here. My dad and mom for obviously having me so I could be alive to play sports. My family and my siblings, because they were all great athletes and set the stage for me. And of course, my husband and my children. I have a son right now who's a class of 2022. He's a plebe. He's here tonight. They allowed him to come. Right there. And then I have a daughter who's a senior who's applying right now, so hopefully she can come and walk in this family tradition of coming to this great academy. And then I have my youngest daughter who's here as well. And most importantly, I just want to thank God, my Heavenly Father, for the privilege of being able to be here tonight. I think I can speak for all the inductees when I say that I am deeply honored, sincerely moved, and extraordinarily humbled to share the platform with these incredible athletes. They're so diverse. I mean, some of the players got to play multiple sports. I tried that, and my coach told me that I could go play soccer if I wanted to play soccer and no longer play volleyball. So we couldn't play multiple sports when I was here. But I mean, incredible athletes, and not only that, just leaders and administrators like Maddie are just amazing, Maddie. So again, thank you all for making this possible for us to be here tonight. I understand that in the process of selecting the final 7 inductees, that the induction committee viewed between 800 and 1,000 candidates. I think that, wow, that's like incredible. The fact that I am here as one of them is evidence that, you know, the West Point team process works. Because when I arrived here as a plebe, I wasn't sure, like most people aren't, if I would be able to make it through even my plebe year, much less than be an asset to the Army volleyball team. The fighting spirit was our motto, and I think it was perfectly applicable. I don't know if they still use it, but that's the one that we used. The level of play on that 6th floor gym, when we used to have Arvin Gymnasium, 6th floor gym, you guys probably all remember, was such a fast game compared to what I was used to in high school. So even though I was recruited, it was very difficult. As most of you probably know, any intercollegiate athlete here, it's very difficult. The practices were very challenging. And you have that struggle between academics and athletics amidst all your duties. But I was fortunate. God had a great support structure for me. My sister was class of '92. She was a middle hitter on the volleyball team. You saw her in some of the pictures that they showed standing beside me. Then, of course, I had my teammates, and my coaches, who Bob Gambardella was that era where he was just breaking all the records and setting all kinds of records. My classmates, which you heard earlier, that are out there. The courage we soar. And then just all the OCF and navigators and all the friends I had from there, they all pushed and carried me when, you know, you felt like you couldn't do it and it was overwhelming. So, and that was most of the time. So I sincerely believe that any of my teammates could just as easily be standing here tonight because we accomplished so much together. You know, you can't have set assist records if you don't have hitters that are putting it away. You know, it's an ace, I mean, it's a kill when they hit it. Most of you you heard him announce earlier that we won the Patriot League 2 years, but the other 2 years we were the runner-up. We never once did we lose to Navy. Never once, or Air Force, or anybody, in league play or off-league play. And we just had a bunch of numerous individual awards. So we were just like a team and a family, and that was kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight, because, you know, none of us was as good alone as we were together, which brings me back to the reason that we're here tonight, because we're talking about and celebrating greatness. And greatness is never obtained in isolation. And I'm sure everyone here, if they had an opportunity to tell you, all the inductees, that they could give you a litany of people who helped them get to where they were. For me personally, I don't remember when she first said it to me, but my mom used to always tell me when I was a child that there was nothing that I couldn't do. And I believed her. And I've always heard that in the back of my mind, so when it gets really difficult, that's what I think about. As I grew older and grew in my faith with God, I came to believe there was nothing I could do without Christ. You know, with him, all things are possible. So these 2 rallying points pushed me when I thought I couldn't go another step. And a good example is, I know a lot of you were at that march back, right? A couple of weeks ago, back in August, when we marched back with the class of 2022. I don't know if you noticed when I walked up here, but I've got a slight limp, and that's because I got a little bit of osteoarthritis going on here. And when I was in that march, it was kind of challenging at times, but I remembered that I'm strong and that I can do anything. I'm strong. And I, of course, had my husband and my son marching right beside me. That was that support structure. I've always had one, and that was it. So that was my point, is that you always have to have that support structure, and everyone here, no one did it on their own, everyone had someone there. So hopefully I can do it again next year with my daughter's class if she gets accepted. So And in conclusion, when I was a cadet, I don't know if you guys still use this motto at the Academy, but we used it a lot: cooperate and graduate. There's no truer words that have ever been spoken. I tell my son all the time, you can't make it through West Point without good friends that will support you. And he's had the opportunity to watch me and my classmates interact throughout his life. And you can't describe that bond. I see you all have it too. I hear it with everyone out here going crazy over there, the person that's in their class standing up here. And I don't know about you, but 30 of my classmates, over 30 of my classmates showed up tonight to support me. And that's crazy. So I just, with courage we soar, yes. And then in my final conclusion, I just want to say thank you to all the families. And if you don't mind, could all the family members that traveled all over the country and all over the world, could you all stand and let's just give you a round of applause, including my family, mom and daddy. Stand up, stand up. And finally, everyone else that came in attendance tonight to support us and just to celebrate with us, thank you for coming. And I hope you enjoyed this evening, and I hope you enjoy tomorrow at the game. So I got to finish this with courage we soar. And duty, honor, country. You all beat Navy.
What an amazing group of individuals. What a tremendous speech by ELITA. Great, great, great job. What a great night. How about one more round of applause for the Army Sports Hall of Fame class of 2018. Before we break for the evening and go our separate ways, we'd like to gather the inductees at the stage immediately after the conclusion of the event for the official group photo session. Also a reminder, the photo booth will remain open until 10 p.m., so still time to get some photos at that photo booth. At this time, we'd like to close this evening's festivities by joining Master Sergeant Mary Kay Messenger once again, this time in the singing of the West Point alma mater.
We all know this one too. I want to hear it loud and strong. Hail, alma mater dear, to us be ever near. Help us thy motto bear through all the years. Let duty be well performed, honor be e'er untarned, country be ever armed, West Point by thee. Big Navy!
On behalf of the United States Military Academy, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this memorable event, as well as Lockheed Martin for their tremendous support of the Army Sports Hall of Fame. Remember, inductees to the stage for a group photo session. Look forward to seeing everyone back at next year's induction ceremony. Go Army, beat Hawaii, and beat Navy. Good night, everyone.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at the Eisenhower Hall Ballroom. Congratulations to the Hall of Fame class of 2018 joining the Immortals. We look forward to the induction of next year's class in 2019. Go Army, beat Hawaii, and beat Navy.